How well do buyer's agents work with a selling agent? Well, can you imagine the fun when we put the two of them together to ask that question? That's exactly what we did. Veronica Morgan, a buyer's agent at Good Deeds Property Buyers, and Danny Doff, one of Sydney's top agents, do that in this conversation. It makes for a very interesting and challenging discussion, I can assure you. So here it is.
Danny, I recently watched a video on the Lang & Simmons Facebook page where you were talking about buyer's agents who you felt weren't adding any value for their fee. And it got me intrigued. Like sales agents, there can be a great deal of variance between the skills and experience, amongst buyer's agents. Do you find yourself eye-rolling when a buyer says you've engaged one?
Not really. We come from old school, and, when we started out, there was no such thing, right? So I've got a lot of friends now that are buyer's agents, and I've developed relationships with them, and I can see some value there, but for certain things, not for everything. Like for them to be able to find a property on the quiet and it's actually market price or actually, a reasonable price, then that's worth their weight in gold. And I would pay that. I'd pay good money for that. I've just had a few situations in the past where a buyer's agent phoned me up. Oh, sorry. Say for instance, a buyer's come through and I've told the buyer you can buy it for $4,150, and then the buyer's agent phones me up and goes, "Danny, what can you get it for me?" And I said, "Mate, I can get it for you for $4,150. And so he said, "Well, can you get a little bit of a discount so I look good to the client?" I said, "No, $4,150 is the price." So he didn't introduce the buyer, he didn't negotiate a better price, and he gets paid this incredible fee for 5 seconds work, and I've been there for 3 months. So that irks me. That guy's not on the market anymore, so that might be saying something. But and if a property's on the market, I think there should be a different structure because it's on the market.
Do you feel, you said you're old school. Do you feel a bit put out sometimes that the buyer doesn't trust you enough to deal with you directly?
Oh, no, we love buyer's agents. We love them. We just know that if a buyer's actually engaged a buyer's agent, they're spending really good money to get the buyer's agent. And if they're interested in a property, things happen so quickly. If a buyer's interested, deals happen within 24 hours. So they're good in that way for facilitating a deal, for sure.
A lot of buyer's agents claim that they have unique access to off-market properties, as you mentioned earlier, and that's, really a core part of their value proposition. Would you say that that's true, that they've got unique access?
They haven't got unique access. They've got, they are friends with all the agents, so they're on everyone's database. And so we have a database that have got all the buyer's agents, but we've all got the buyers that have contacted us through domain, through to realestate.com, and people that were added in manually into our database. So they're getting the information that all the buyers on the database are getting as well. So they're not getting a unique situation, in my opinion. Because every quiet listing, I'm putting it out to the database straight away.
We sort of I often talk about true off markets and fake off markets with the pre-markets. I guess that's in a way what we're talking about there. Yeah. Not talking about your business here, but generally in the industry, do you think that kickbacks lock some buyers out of deals?
Kickbacks to the buyer's agent?
Yeah, sometimes. I've been hearing stories around that.
No, I haven't heard. I haven't done any kickbacks like that at all. No, we just know that they're dealing with the buyer and they're getting paid from the buyer, and that's what he explained to the vendor, is that this buyer has been represented by this buyer's agent and they're doing the deal for this buyer. There's no kickbacks at all. I haven't seen that at all.
Well, I'm pleased to hear that, I have to say. So, sometimes you hear these rumours and it could be just, sour grapes or something, and sometimes there's substance to it. So I'm very pleased to hear that. We've talked a bit.
Not what I've noticed.
We've talked a bit about the bad and the ugly, and you touched on the good being the speed at which deals can get done.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think that sometimes that speed is, disadvantageous to the buyer, or do you think that you see it as a necessary thing to happen in your marketplace?
Oh, yeah, if you like something, you have to work really quickly to get it, and they facilitate that, and they understand that the deal has to happen quickly if they want to get their buyer to buy it. So, and they've got a vested interest in it. So, if a buyer says to the buyer's agent that it's a good property and they want to buy it and they're emotionally attached to it, then the buyer's agent just goes for it. I heard something the other night where, and one of my agents called on a Sunday night at 8 o'clock. "I need to exchange before 12 o'clock tonight." I mean, that's fantastic, So, and it happened. It happened, on a Sunday night. I couldn't believe it. So that's one good thing about a buyer's agent. They'll do it, and they'll do it quick.
You love to do those deals. You got a few hours to get it done.
Yeah.
There's often, I mean, and I'm an ex-sales agent, so I could be lumping myself in this bucket. But there's a bit of a word out there that, you know, those that have failed in the sales side of things turn to buyer's agency. Do you think there's any credit in that?
Oh, there's I tell you, if I had my time again, I'd be a buyer's agent.
Right.
I really honestly would, because when you think about it, you've got all these prospective buyers out there, and there's a massive buyer pool that wants to buy in the eastern suburbs, but there's only a really small section of prospective vendors. And when you try and talk to a prospective vendor, they're getting daily calls from a heap of agents and being hounded, and it's a really hard call. But if you're prospective buyers, obviously getting called by some agents here and there, but they're, they want to be spoken to. They want to buy a property. So it's a much easier conversation from a buyer's agent to talk to a buyer than a sales agent talking to a prospective vendor, because they've been hounded, and it's tough. Our market here is saturated with buyers, with real estate agents, and not many buyers agents.
And not many listings. I think that's really the core there, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's really hard, and I've seen a lot of agents in the eastern suburbs become buyers agents and absolutely kill it. And good luck to them. They've killed it.
When I changed about 13 years ago, it's funny because my old boss said to me, it was around September, October, right that time of year when things became difficult. You know, clearance rates start falling, spring brings lots of stock to the market. She said, "Oh, I hate this time of year. Don't you just hate it? I can't wait for Christmas." And I said, "Well, actually, I'm enjoying it because my clients, they trust me. They're actually enjoying it. I'm enjoying it for once."
Yeah.
I think it's fairly well known that I don't shy away from controversy, and I do like to talk about the elephant in the room. There is more to helping a client buy than simply finding a property and negotiating a deal, and obviously providing guidance and advice along the way to ensure that the right property is purchased takes a lot of skill and emotional intelligence. But I really do appreciate you sharing your perspective, Danny, because as I said, it really got me intrigued when you were having a bit of a rant on the Facebook page. And I think that we're both two sides of the same coin, and we do have to work together.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
And I'd love the entire industry to raise the bar. So I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely. No problems. Loved it. Thank you.
Great.
Good to see you again.